I know I cannot be the only one who loves the vibe of Black 2000s media, man. From the shows like 101, The Proud Family, Moesha, the music from artists like Mario, Chris Brown, Neo, the movies like You Got Served, Stump the Yard, Barbershop. Dear Lord, we was eating good back then, man. They all just got a certain vibe to them, man, like a certain look, a feel, that I personally just find so mesmerizing, man. And I really don't see that getting broken down too often, if not at all. So today, that's exactly what we gonna do. Let's get into the aesthetic of Black 2000s media. But before we do, welcome to my childish nature. Hope you enjoy your stay, man. And if you do, go ahead and subscribe, man. Let YouTube know I'm one of them. Without further ado, let's get into it. The look of the 2000s. High saturation, fat fonts, everything is shiny. Hip hop was bright and animated, and R&B had the slow-mo game on lock, with some dancing thrown in there. And speaking of them R&B slow-mo shots, those had to be one of the most overused things in R&B history, bro. Now, of course, these shots had points to them, you know what I'm saying? R&B videos back in the day used to tell stories. And the slow-mo shots was used to get your attention for that story, a way to be dramatic with it, you know what I'm saying? It was those slow shots paired with the fadeaway transitions that made R&B videos what they were back in the day, man. Hip-hop, however, was very animated in the 2000s. I feel like that's the best way to describe it. Hip-hop was just very animated back in the day. And the way they shot the videos, they always knew how to keep it fun, but weird. That's what made it memorable though. Like, I know everybody got that one screenshot of their favorite 2000s rap songs, like, stuck in their head. And speaking of images that stick with you, these shows knew how to keep their sets interesting with the coloring, the lighting, the overall set pieces. They gave you a vibe, a look that just kept you coming back to them. And I'm just not realizing this, but a lot of the shows back in the day had a warm color palette to them. Colors of brown, orange, reds, yellows, and it was very consistent. And the color palette, with the assistance of everything else stated before, aids in giving these shows a natural feel to them, a natural vibe, bro. Make these sets feel lived in. And when you add the sound, the music, on top of the look, trust and believe, man, you in for a treat. It's almost impossible to not love the sound of Black 2000s media with the variety of genres we had, man. Neo Soul kept it real, R&B made you feel, and hip-hop made you want to get up and do something. And speaking of hip-hop, the 2000s is when the South really took over and started to make their mark. And as a result, hip-hop had a real dirty sound to it. Dirt. That dirty sound with them synths and them hard-knocking drums that knew how to get you hype, man. And if it wasn't them hype songs, it was them slow songs. It was almost a requirement back in the day for every rapper to have a slow song in their catalog. And speaking of that slow sound, R&B is where you really want it to be, for the authentic slow feel. That raw vocal range that you used to need to be something in R&B back in the day, man. Definitely something we missing nowadays. If you wasn't able to move your voice in octaves back in the day, you was not seeing the light of day, trust and believe, bro. Also during this time, R&B had a unique sound that I would best describe as glittery. What do I mean by glittery? Think Tanisha Kelly with My Everything. Think Tiffany Evans with Promise Ring. Think Janae Aiko, Be Right There. Songs with soft, soothing vocals, accompanied with an airy like beat that just make you feel like you on cloud 9. You can't help but smile when listening to it, because the feeling that this sound and all the other sounds of the 2000s give off is undeniable. The look, sound, and some character to add on top of it all come together to create a certain feel for Black 2000s media, man. The high contrast and saturation gives off a happy and feel-good vibe. From the synths to the acoustic instruments giving off a exaggerated yet grounded feel. From the warm natural colors to the shows to the raw natural feeling of the music. It all brings a feeling of comfort, making it feel like home. I remember my first day at middle school, man. They go me. Yeah, new school, I ain't know nobody, on a part of the town I'd never be at. Yet for some reason, when I got in there, everything felt strangely familiar. From the people to the look of the building, everything felt like I've been there before. Maybe it was familiar personalities, maybe it was familiar sounds going off in the background, whatever it may be. By the end of that day, I felt like I've been there for years. And that's the same vibe Black 2000s media give off. A certain feeling of familiarity, a feeling of calmness, a feeling of home. Just natural. Nothing feels forced, nothing feel like it's doing more than what it gotta do. And yeah, you got a couple of songs and shows that go out of this mode, but those are the exceptions, not the rule. I don't know, man. Maybe it's nostalgia. Or maybe it's just that natural 2000s feel. And while we're talking about the 2000s, why don't you go ahead and watch songs from that decade that you forgot existed?